what's going on? It's Ultimate Self, and today we're going to talk about how to get faster. More importantly, we're going to specifically focus on the drive phase. Alright, so what is the drive phase? The drive phase is, well, depending on what sport you're doing, whether you're doing football or you're doing track or you're doing whatever sport you're doing that you're running. The drive phase is when you start building up speed. Basically, when you're in a kind of like a diagonal angle, 45, 50 degrees, heading towards your top speed. That is your drive phase. And your drive phase is the most important part of your race or your speed. Here's why. During your drive phase is when you actually build the speed that you need to get to your top speed. So to make things a little bit easier, let's say we're in track, we get out the blocks. Those who don't get out the blocks the best may be a little behind in the beginning, but because of their drive phase, they have very skilled drive phase, they can come up and beat you at the end. And here's what I mean. So your drive phase is you already cleared the blocks. All right, you already cleared the blocks, you already started, and now your job is to drive into the ground as hard as possible. Now we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, exactly what you're supposed to do, but today we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the drive phase as a whole. All right, so you're driving into the ground as hard as you possibly can, and try to build up, increase the coverage that you take over every step, the coverage of the ground of every step. So every time you hit the ground, you want to kind of launch your body forward even further. Launch may not be the best word, that may confuse some of you, but basically every step you want to make larger than the last. All right, so let's say you start with 1 meter. Your first step is 1 meter, and then 1.5 meter your second step, and then 1.8 meters, and 1.9 meters, and then 2 meters, and then 2.3, and then 2.5, and then 2.8, which is pretty great. So at that point you're finished with your drive phase. All right, now you're in your upright posture. Now your job is to maintain that 2.8 that you just built up from. So the drive phase is to get to that top steps, if that, I'll be allowed to say that, top stride. Then after that stride, after you reach your top stride, that you can manage based on your strength, your body, you find that your body is in a more erect position. It's not something that's forced. It's natural. You don't force your body to stay low, or you don't force your body to rise up. You just let it happen naturally. It's all based on your strength. So the stronger you are, the longer you can stay in a drive phase, and the less strength you have, the quicker you rise up. All right. Also deals with positioning in the beginning as well. Some people just pop up. That's not having to do with the strength. It's sports technique. But we're not talking about that. All right. So the drive phase is the most important part, because that's when you're building your stride length. Speed is stride length times stride frequency. So you add them together. If your stride frequency, which is how many steps you take over a second, is 5 seconds, and your stride length is what's it called? It's 2 meters. Then you're gonna cover 10 meters over a second. All right, so I like to focus more on the stride length and the stride frequency. You can go either way, but let's put this into perspective. Let's say you have a stride length of 3 meters. That's amazing. And then you have a stride frequency of 4, which is not that great. You multiply that together, you have 12 meters per second. That is amazing. If you can average that over the 100 meters, you have 8.33 seconds for your 100. Now, is that possible? I think it is. Has anybody done it? Is anybody even close? No one's even close. But that's the whole point. The drive phase is for you to get to your top stride, and then once you rise up, that's a whole different story. We're going to talk about next time. All right? See you guys next time. Ultimate Self out.